In a small village called Umuohia, there lived a young man named Chuka. He had just finished his apprenticeship in Onitsha and was very happy. His Oga, boss, had settled him well, and now he wanted to start his own shop selling electronics. But first, he needed a place to stay. Chuka didn't want to live with relatives. He wanted his own apartment, somewhere quiet where he could think, sleep, and plan his future. So he came back to the village to look for a room. One afternoon, as he walked around, he saw a big old house near the edge of the village. The compound was quiet, too quiet. The building looked old, with cracked walls and long grasses growing everywhere. But the house had 10 rooms, and the sign outside said, "Rooms for rent, cheap price, see Mama Ikin." Chuka smiled. "Oh, this one go fit me well. Cheap and big. No jackpot be this." He asked a little boy playing nearby, "Who be Mama Ikin?" The boy pointed to a small shop across the road. Chuka crossed the road and saw a woman sitting behind the counter, peeling oranges. "Mama, good afternoon," he greeted. "My pikin, good afternoon. Wetin you dey find?" "I want rent room for that house we get signboard," Chuka said, pointing. The woman's smile quickly disappeared. She looked at him from head to toe, then looked away. "You want rent there?" she asked slowly. "Yes, Mama. I just come back. I go start business soon." "That house big and quiet?" Mama Ikin was quiet for some seconds. Then she nodded. "Okay. Now me dey manager. But I go give you only one room. You go pay 1 year straight." "No wala," Chuka said with excitement. She collected the money and gave him the key. That same evening, Chuka moved in with his few bags and a small mattress. At first, everything was fine. The room was dusty, but he cleaned it. There was no light, but he used his torch. There was a borehole in the compound, but the water was cold and tasted like old iron. Still, he didn't complain. But on the third night, strange things began to happen. Chuka was sleeping when he heard a knock on his window. Knock, knock, knock. He jumped up. "Who be that?" No answer. He opened the window, nothing was there. He went back to sleep. Just as he was closing his eyes again, he heard footsteps running across the corridor. Tap, 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 tap. He opened the door, nobody was there. He checked all around the compound. No one. "Maybe not my mind they play with me," he told himself. But the next night, things got worse. As he slept, he felt something cold touch his feet. He opened his eyes, and saw a wet footprint on the floor of his room. Just one. Like someone with wet legs had stepped inside. But he had locked the door. Chuka screamed and jumped from his bed. He ran outside into the night, wearing only boxers. He knocked on Mama Ikin's shop. "Mama. Mama. Something dey inside that house." Mama Ikin opened the door slowly. Her eyes were red, like she had been crying. "My son," she said quietly, "I no suppose give you that room. But the house done dey empty for long. I need money." Chuka was shaking. "Wetin dey worry that house? Tell me the truth." Mama Ikin looked around and whispered, "Long time ago, something bad happened for that house." But before she could finish, they heard a loud cry from the compound. A deep, manly voice shouting one word. "Get out." Chuka froze. Mama Ikin covered her mouth with her hands. Then she said, "You must leave. But first, you must hear the story. Because no one who sleeps in that room ever stays the same." Chuka stood there, sweating like he had run from Umuahia to Lagos. His heart was beating so fast it felt like it would jump out of his chest. "Mama," he whispered, "who shout that, 'Get out'? Is somebody living there?" Mama Ikin shook her head slowly. "Nobody dey live there. No spirit. Chuka's knees became weak. He sat on the ground, holding his head. But Mama, how? Why? Mama Ikin sighed and sat down beside him. Make I tell you the story. She looked into the dark night like she was looking into the past. Many years ago, that house belonged to one big man. Him named not Chief Okoli. He was rich, powerful, and feared in this village. But he was also a wicked man. People say he used juju, strong one. He used to do money rituals to grow his business. Every year, somebody close to him go disappear, driver, houseboy, even his first wife. But nobody fit talk. If you talk, something go happen to you. One day, him only daughter, Ngozi, came back from university. She wanted to marry her boyfriend. But Chief no gree. He said the boy was poor. That night, people hear shouting inside the house. The next morning, the girl was gone. Chuka opened his mouth wide. She ran away. Mama Ikin shook her head. We no know. Some say she ran. Some say her papa used her for ritual too. 2 weeks later, Chief Okali died inside that same house. His body was found inside his room, burnt, like fire catch and from inside. But the bed, the walls, everything around him, nothing burned. Only him body. People say it was revenge. Since that day, strange things begin happen for the house. Tenants go moving, but they no go stay long. Some run mad. Some disappear. Some begin talk to spirits. Only room 4, the one where you rent, not the most dangerous. Chuka felt cold all over. Mama, why you no tell me before? I wanted to tell you, she said, but people know they believe. You for things say no old woman they talk nonsense. Just then, a loud knock came from the back of the shop. Knock. 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 They both froze. Mama, who be that? Mama Ikin didn't answer. Her hands were shaking. She whispered, I lock everywhere. Nobody fit enter from back. Knock. 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 This time, they heard a voice. A soft girl's voice. Daddy, open the door. I'm cold. Daddy, please. Chuka's heart nearly stopped. Mama. I know be him papa oh. Mama Ikin stood up slowly, tears in her eyes. That is Ngozi's voice. Chuka grabbed her hand. I no go back to that house again. Make I go pack my load now. Mama Ikin held him tight. No go back there now. If you enter that compound tonight, you no go come out alive. We go wait till morning. Then you go pack and leave for good. But that night, something was already looking for Chuka. Because once you sleep in that room, something wakes up, and it doesn't like people leaving. That night, as they sat quietly in Mama Ikin's shop, a shadow passed by the window. A shadow with long hair and no face. And in the wind, a voice whispered. You cannot run, Chuka, you are part of the house now. Chuka held his breath. He had just heard his name, from the wind. He turned to Mama Ikin. Did you hear that? She nodded slowly, her eyes wide with fear. It has started. You're no longer just a tenant. You've entered the house's history. Chuka was confused. What do you mean? Mama Ikin looked around like the walls had ears. Then she whispered, that house no day forget faces. If you enter that room, even if not one night, the house go know you. And once he know you, it go follow you. Chuka started sweating again. You mean say even if I pack out, the walla no go end? Mama Ikin nodded sadly. That's why I say you must hear the full story. So you go know what to do. But wait, what can I do? I know be pastor oh. I know sabi prayer. I know even they go church steady. Chuka cried. Mama Ikin stood up and walked to a small wooden box under her table. She brought out an old, torn wrapper and unwrapped it slowly. Inside was a small black bottle, some white chalk, and a brown leather book with no name. "This belonged to Ngozi, Chief Okoli's daughter," she said. "She gave it to me 2 days before she disappeared." Chuka's eyes opened wide. She was still alive. Mama Ikin nodded. Yes. She knew her father was planning to use her. So she came to me crying. She said if anything happened to her, I should keep this item safe. That one day, somebody will enter that room, someone who can set her free. Chuka stood up fast. "Oh. No be me oh. I no fit do that kind thing." But Mama Ikin looked at him deeply. "Do you think it's a mistake that you chose that house? Or that you chose room 4, the same room Ngozi slept in before she vanished?" Chuka couldn't answer. She opened the book. Inside were hand-drawn pictures, strange symbols, and a page that had Chuka's exact birth date written in pencil. His mouth dropped open. "This no be coincidence," he said softly. Mama Ikin whispered, "Ngozi saw you, before she died. In a dream. She knew you would come." Suddenly, the firewood stove in the shop flickered and went out, without wind, without rain. Then the voice came again, this time louder, angrier. "You don't belong here, but now, you can't leave." Chuka grabbed his chest. It felt like something heavy was sitting on him. Mama Ikin quickly used the white chalk to draw a circle on the floor around them. "Stay inside this circle," she said. "As long as you're inside, they can't touch you. But if you step out tonight, they will take you." Chuka was shaking like someone with cold. "Mama, what do they want from me?" She looked him in the eyes. "They want you to finish what Ngozi started. To enter that room, open the hidden floor under the bed, and take out what Chief Okoli buried there." "What did he bury?" Chuka asked in a shaking voice. She paused. Then she said, "Her heart." Chuka felt like his own heart had stopped beating. Her heart. "Mama, how person go bury another person heart under bed? No joke be this." Mama Ikin shook her head slowly. "It's no joke, my son. Chief Okoli didn't just do ordinary rituals. He was part of a secret cult, the Circle of Black Water. To join them, he had to give them the heart of someone he loved. He chose Ngozi, his only child." Chuka looked down at the chalk circle on the floor. He wished he could disappear. "But wait, how she take leave the book with you if her heart no dey her body?" Mama Ikin whispered, "The night before Chief did the ritual, Ngozi ran to me. She said she had seen a dream where her spirit got trapped inside the house forever. She begged me to help her. But I was too afraid." Tears filled her eyes. She left the book, the chalk, and that black bottle. She said, "One day, someone brave will enter room 4. Give this to him. He must return my heart, or the house will keep taking more souls." Chuka's throat was dry. "So now me go dig under the bed and carry heart." Mama Ikin opened the black bottle. Thick, dark smoke came out. It smelled like something old and bitter. Inside was a small bone carved with symbols. "Keep this with you," she said. "It's a protection charm. If the spirits try to touch you, this will hold them back for small time. But not forever." Chuka's hands were shaking as he took the bone. Then, the ground trembled. Just small, like a weak earthquake. Boom. 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 It was coming from the house. "Room 4 is calling you," Mama Ikin said quietly. Chuka stood up. "I no one go. You must. Or you will never know peace." The next morning, just before sunrise, they walked slowly toward the compound. The house looked different. Darker. Angrier. The windows had no glass, just blackness. The door to room 4 was wide open like it was waiting. Chuka stepped in. It was cold. The air smelled like wet ashes and sorrow. He moved to the bed and pushed it aside. The floor under it had a wooden plank, shaped like a square. His hands trembled as he pulled the wood. Underneath was a small box. Red cloth wrapped around it, tied with black rope. Chuka reached for the box. But just as his fingers touched it, a scream came from the corner of the room. A woman. He turned fast. A girl was standing there. She was floating, her long hair covering her face. Blood dripped from her chest. It was Ngozi. She raised one hand and pointed at the box. Then she whispered, "Set me free." Suddenly, the walls began to shake. A dark shadow moved across the ceiling. From the corner of the room, a deep voice growled, "Don't touch it." Chuka held the charm tightly and shouted, "Ngozi sent me. You no fit stop me." He grabbed the box and the moment Chuka grabbed the red-wrapped box, the whole house screamed. Yes, screamed. The windows shattered by themselves. The door slammed shut behind him. The bed flew across the room like someone pushed it with angry power. Chuka fell to the ground with the box in his hands, shaking. From the walls, black shadows started crawling out like smoke with legs. They were whispering his name. "Chuka! Chuka, give it back, give it back." But Chuka held onto the charm bone tight. He remembered Mama Ikin's voice in his head. "Don't run. Don't beg. Just open the box and finish it." With trembling fingers, he pulled off the black rope and opened the box. Inside was a small clay pot, sealed with red cloth and dried blood. It was beating softly, like a real heart. Thump, thump, thump. Suddenly, the ghost of Ngozi appeared again, closer now. Her face was sad, her voice soft. "Break it," she said. "Break it, and set me free." From the ceiling, a terrible roar came, a chief Okoli spirit. A tall shadow with red eyes dropped down in front of Chuka. It looked like a man, but with long, clawed fingers and a face that looked burnt and melted. "If you break it, you die with her," the spirit shouted. But Chuka stood up. His legs were shaking, but his eyes were strong. He lifted the clay pot. "I'm not afraid of you. You killed your own daughter. You don't deserve peace." He smashed the pot hard on the ground. Boom! A flash of white light filled the room. Then, silence. Total silence. The air became light. The shadows disappeared. When Chuka opened his eyes, the room was empty. The walls were clean. The sun was shining through the windows. And in front of him stood Ngozi, not as a ghost, but as a smiling young woman in a white dress. "Thank you," she whispered. "You have done what no one could. I am free now." Then she disappeared like dust in the wind. 1 week later, Chuka packed his bags and left Umuohia. He never looked back at the house. Later, people said the haunted building suddenly collapsed 3 days after he left. Nothing remained but the red sand. Nobody ever heard the voice again. Mama Ikin moved away too. She said her work there was done. And Chuka, he opened his electronics shop in Onitsha. Business was good. But every year, on the same day he broke the pot, he dreams of Ngozi standing in the sun, smiling at him. And from that day on, whenever someone says they want to rent a cheap apartment without asking questions, Chuka always says, "Watch this before renting an apartment." Because some rooms don't want tenants. They want souls.